بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون صدق الله العظيم. First and foremost, it's my religious and moral responsibility to greet you with Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honorable President of the program, respected ulama and dear audience. Today, firstly, I would like to thank you for giving me a chance to shed some light on the topic of misunderstanding of the demands of time. Dear friends, the first thing to be defined is the phrase, meeting the demands of time. We feel that those who are so forcefully preaching the importance of demands of time themselves do not have a clear conception of these demands. They are simply making the ambiguous claims that religious scholars are opposed to the demands of time. But they did not make it clear as to what those specific demands are which are opposed by the ulama. If by the demands of time they mean that Muslims should endeavor to equip themselves with all the means of science and technology without which it is not possible to survive as a free nation in the world of today, then indeed this is the greatest need and demand of this time. There is no scholar who forbids and opposes this important demand of time. Which scholar has issued any verdict and fatwa that progress in the field of science and technology is forbidden, unlawful, meaningless, or useless? However, these people consider music and dance, nudity and obscenity, profligacy and immodesty, co-education, free intermixing of men and women, usually in banking and birth control as the demands of time and means of progress. Then indeed, the religious scholars have openly opposed them, and they should have done so. They still do it and will continue doing it. We may be informed, what logic and reason has ever claimed these things to be the demands of time? They must bring some logical argument to prove what relation material progress has with music and dances. What progress would stop without nudity and obscenity? And what are the genuine obstacles in the way of promoting interest-free banking? How does co-education and free mixing of men and women help in science and technology? Dear intellectuals, the modernists may call music and dances, co-education, mixed gatherings and so on as the demands of time. But in view of the circumstances, we sincerely believe that the greatest need and demand of the present time is that the Islamic world should totally eradicate these things with full might and power. This is because the magnitude of the fatalities that have come to the forefront in the 20th century have never been witnessed. The very Western intelligentsia itself is showing a clear signs of extreme anxiety and restlessness on their premature but immoral and irrational social advancement. Dear farsighted friends, I do wish to quote here the words of philosopher poet Iqbal who said, "Quwwat-e Maghrib na az chango rubab, Quwwat-e Maghrib na az chango rubab, ne zarakhso dukhtarane behijab, ne za sihre sahirane lana rust, ne za uriya saq wa ne az qat' must, mahkami urana az ladini ist, ne farogash az khatt latini ist, Quwwat-e afrang az ilm fan ist, az hami atish tiragash roshan ist, حكمة القطع بريد جاما نست ماني علم هنر عماما نست." Power of the West is not due to flutes and guitars, nor due to dances of wellness girls, nor due to the spell of their magical beauty, nor to their naked legs, nor to their trimmed hairstyle. Their supremacy is not due to secularism, nor is their progress due to Latin script. Their power is due to science and technology. It's this fuel that is burning in their lamps. Wisdom does not lie in how the clothes are tailored, and the turban is no obstruction for science and technology. Esteemed dignitaries, now the modernists of Islam want to make similar amendments by considering Islam equal to Christianity, and scholars of Islam parallel to popes, and regard themselves as Luthers and Rousseaus of their time. In this way, they want to become the reformers of the Muslim nation by opposing and defaming the religious scholars. They aspire that some Henry will soon appear and he will grace them by accepting their ideology and then officially implementing it forever. That the coming generations will regard them in such high esteem as is the case of hero worship with Luther and Rousseau, etc. Respected elders, Islam is neither a spiritless religion like Christianity to have any fear or danger from scientific and technological advancement, nor its religious scholars have ever opposed the science and technology as the popes had done. Neither does it need any Martin Luther, Rousseau are reigning for its survival. That's why in the history of this religion, all those who tried to amend, manipulate and modernize it got nothing but reproach and condemnation. In the history of this religion, the advocates of modernism have not been called Luther and Calvin, but the modernists of our history are remembered by the names of Musaylima, Abdullah ibn Sabah, Abu Musa Mazdar, Hassan ibn Sabbah, Abu al-Fadl Fayzi, Karamat and Kamal Ataturk. Even their children would feel ashamed of their lineage with these names. The opponents of Luther and Calvin are mentioned with great disregard by the Christians. But the proponents of modernism in Islam, namely Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Mahmud Ghaznavi and Mujaddid al-Fithani rahimahumullah, are still living with their names. And as long as the human conscience is alive, the names of these sacred personalities will continue to be taken with love and allegiance. But it's a pity that our present day, the modernists have not been able to understand the great diversity between Islam and Christianity. And as a result of this grave misunderstanding, they have been busy in abusing the scholars of Islam, calling them obscurists and accusing them of ignorance for no reason. So now, we earnestly request them with all the well wishes and heartfelt sympathies that they revise their attitude with a broad mind and balanced thoughts. Otherwise, the course adopted by them is in no way beneficial for Muslims, for the country and the Ummah, and even for themselves. So now I'm going to wind up my speech. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.